Hello and welcome, and in this video we're going to be going through how you can generate revenue with ChatGPT by creating your own ebooks. Now you may have come across a lot of ebooks or digital books online and thought to yourself, I can generate that about a certain topic, but either not being the best at writing, not wanted to, not had the time or the effort for you to generate that. But now with ChatGPT you can do just that. You can generate your own ebooks and sell them online using ChatGPT. So how would we get started with this? First thing I would do is come up with a topic. Of course, you can ask ChatGPT to do that, but like I said in one of our earlier videos, I feel like the best thing to use ChatGPT for is something you already have some background and knowledge about. So the example I'm going to use is generating an ebook about web development. Now I wanted to focus on Next.js, Tailwind CSS for styling, and Vercel as a deployment platform. Now if you don't know too much about web development, that's okay, but I will show you exactly how I do this. So I'm going to feed it the prompt, I want to write a book on web development for beginners. Note that I explicitly mentioned I want it to be for beginners. I stated the topic, which is web development, and I also provided the frameworks that I wanted to focus on. I then went to give it a basic structure and explain the main things that I want it to include or make sure that it doesn't leave out. Here's where we ask ChatGPT to get us started. Can you write an outline and table of contents for this book? Lo and behold, ChatGPT gets us started with exactly what we need. An introduction to web development, goes into the tools, setting up your environment. It's perfect. It's already going off to a great start. So we're already off to a great start. We have our table of contents and we have exactly what we want to go through. Now the next step is optional, but I like to do this to really boost the quality of the content that I'm generating with ChatGPT. What I want to ask ChatGPT is, for every section, I want it to provide me the subsections. So as you can see, it's gone ahead and for every chapter, it's broken it down into a few different points. And this is awesome because now we have our chapters and we have our sub-chapters. What I'm going to do is, now that I've got the first chapter, I'm going to go ahead and highlight this point right here. And I'm going to say, write the first chapter for this topic. And what ChatGPT is going to do is go ahead and write exactly what we need. So ChatGPT is going to continue writing this for us. And here's the great part about it. Because we've given it context, we've explained that this is the first chapter, it knows what we're writing. You'll notice towards the end, it will even start saying things like, in this book, we will focus on, and provide the reader with a bit of context. And this is great. If you were to copy this, you've already got yourself the first part of the chapter, and then you can go on to write the next point by copying this and writing the next piece. And that's awesome. Now we can go through piece by piece and write each of those chapters. I do recommend going through and editing the content, making sure that it fits the style, but here's one extra step that you can take. I can have a look at this and I can provide ChatGPT with a sample content that I've written. So if I have some content that I've written, if I already write ebooks and I have my own tone, I can provide it with that as an example and then ask ChatGPT to rewrite it in my tone. Now, I don't have content that I'm going to feed ChatGPT, but what I can go ahead and do is say, rewrite this as though it was written by Gary Vaynerchuk. You can already see that the first chapter starts off, has the word hustle in there. Super Gary V-like. Web development is the hustle of creating and maintaining websites to mix. And you'll see, you have a look at that and you'll notice that it's a lot more in his tone. So now you might be wondering, what do I do once I've finished writing this ebook? So ChatGPT has pretty much generated all of that content for me. You can go ahead and put that into a Google Doc. You can use that on Microsoft Word. Another one I would recommend is Notion. So you can actually turn this into a Notion ebook. So if you head over to notion.so, you'll be able to create your own ebook on Notion, publish that, make it live. But also now if you want to sell it, we're going to jump into Gumroad. So now that we've written our ebook, we've popped it into something like Notion or any other text editor, and we now have it ready for sale. If I export it as a PDF or whichever format that I want to use, I now need to be able to sell this ebook. So the platform that I'm going to show you is called Gumroad. So you may have heard of Gumroad before. If you jump into gumroad.com, you'll be able to go through, look at their features. So what you're able to do with Gumroad is be able to set up your own online storefront, pop your product on there, upload that ebook and start making some revenue. Now, of course, I don't want to leave out the fact that you do need to advertise it, obviously get it in front of people, get some eyes on that book. Otherwise, your product is just going to sit there. But also one of the great things about Gumroad is it is a flat rate pricing. So if you don't sell a product, you don't pay anything. But once you sold, they take 10% and you make your profits. So with that, you're able to now generate your own ebook using ChatGPT. Super simple. It's a great way for you to get started with publishing if that's something you've always wanted to do, but also a way for you to start your own side hustle if you've got some knowledge that you want to share. I will reiterate, like I said in earlier videos, it's super important for you to know exactly what you're talking about and what you're writing. Otherwise, anyone can just have generic content generated by ChatGPT, and therefore your book is kind of obsolete. But if you know what you're talking about, then you can hone in on specific topics that others may not be covering in their books or their content.